And right, recording in progress, it's a sign. We're going to begin with Vandeham Shri Guru. Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuktapata Kamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakarn Vitanscha. Om Agyanti Marandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Melitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurudev Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratuje Namaha. Vanchakalpatrubhischa Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyam Vaishnavebhyam Namo Namaha. Right, so we're happily here on Zoom, we're happily here on Facebook, we're happily here recorded. So with all of you good devotees, we're happy to be together. Sadhu Sangha, the association of devotees, is so important. So we'll first of all come to Brazil, because Brazil, we've been talking earlier today with so many devotees, and still, and almost coming up to midnight, we have Leela Prabhu Anu Krishna Revidasi, and looking like they're in an office somewhere, and Vrindavaneshri looking like she's in Govardhan, actually, but now with the camera on looking like it's night. So yes, now we know it's night. So from Brazil, let us ask Anu Krishna Devidasi to say a few words. Back to basics, some reflections this week, or some question, but from yourself, Anu Krishna. Let us know a little news from them.
Okay, Dandavats Gurudev, Dandavats everyone. So, no news, but Lila Moy became friends with my husband. So sometimes I get home and I find him because my husband Bruno is always inviting him to come here. So it's a nice friendship for both, I guess. So this morning I couldn't participate on our gathering in Bhakti Yoga Institute because I was running to work. But then Lila Moy came here, and actually it's good to be in his association. So thanks to Lila Moy, I'm here. Otherwise, I'm very sleepy by this time. So nice to see everyone. I'm sorry I don't have any news, but it's nice to be here.
Well, that is news in itself. I'm happy to hear that Lulu and Lila Moy are making friends, because we need to have some friends who are remembering Krishna and Krishna-centered, and this, I think he may be a good influence on your husband, Giant.
Yeah.
Very good. And, okay, I won't ask Vrindavaneshri to speak, because I know she's in the middle of the night in a dark room, unless you'd volunteer to say something. Maybe, yes, maybe not. But her picture does look like it is the Mukkaravinda temple beside Govardhan. But of course, I'm not 100% sure. I can't tell just from that one little picture. But the thumbnail picture looks like that. So reminder of Govardhan Hill. When we're reminded of Govardhan Hill, we're of course reminded of Gupta Govardhan and Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. We're reminded of Govinda Kund, both in Navadip and in Vrindavan. We're reminded of Gurudev, reminded of Guru Maharaj, reminded of Krishna Leela, all sorts of wonderful things with the remembrance of Govardhan Hill. Hare Krishna. And Mayeshwari Devidasi at home this week. And, okay, I don't know the dates. I won't keep saying we're looking forward to being here soon, but we are looking forward to your being here soon. And so are the devotees. They got going through the list yesterday of who is coming and going. And devotees are coming and going quite busily. From here, I'm in Italy, as you know, beside Gurudev's, Srila Gurudev's bed in his room. They give me this opportunity to serve in here. And in Italy, Maheshwari Devidasi, who was living in the London temple, now living in Switzerland, and who comes here when she can. She was here for actually some weeks, maybe a month, I'm not sure. Then she went with the preaching or people reaching party to France, to I think Nice in France. And so they've been over there in France, and she came back the evening before yesterday, and so she was here until yesterday morning. She has an appointment in Switzerland that she has to go to, but she came back very lively with the news of the preaching in France and the receptivity, is that the right word? Anyway, the eagerness of the people, those people that they met people who came to the gathering, but also who are not in the gathering, but people who, while they're people reaching and meeting. And she was very enlivened, and it's a good sign. Means that everywhere, we can't say French people, Italian people, and such and such. It's not a fair summary, but certainly in France, as I suppose everywhere, there are sincere souls, and Krishna has been sending them. And certainly for giving enthusiasm to the people reachers, the devotees who are bravely going out into the public. So she came through with lots of energy, and now back in Switzerland. Hare Krishna. Oh, somebody put my spotlight on the screen and it became very big. Oh dear. And Rupanuga Prabhu is in Thailand. His classic Thailand picture of Rupanuga. After a full life of so many activities, he's meant to be retired and only chanting Krishna name and reading Krishna books. But Rupanuga Prabhu is always busy, always being consulted. People are always contacting him, even though he looks relaxed in Thailand. Still got a few material engagements he voluntarily engages in for the nourishment or the help of his friends, actually, people who know him. Rupanuga Prabhu, a few words from you. Is it possible to retire in this material world?
It is possible to retire. Oh, sorry. I was over there dancing this morning, and while I danced, it was Hare Krishna, and I was in my element and bliss. So I do repeat the name all the time, even though I live in the material world. Hare Krishna.
Okay. And we know you repeat the name because we came across you. You didn't know we're coming. You're in the forest here, in the forest, and we heard the trees echoing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then we came across Rupanuga Prabhu. That was a very happy day, a very happy day. And we see devotees chanting the name, spreading good fortune around. All right. So, Paramanandru, you are driving and it is night. Is it really night, or are you in a tunnel? You're in a tunnel.
It's a tunnel, Maharaj.
And it's Japan. You still have internet in the tunnel. Here, when we go through the tunnels, we generally lose the internet, which is a little bit of a problem if we're on a Zoom. Paramanandru, would you like to contribute a few words back to basics, some nourishment for us all?
Don't have much news, Maharaj. There's only one. Krishna is back to Vrindavan.
Krishna is back to Vrindavan. Okay, now we're getting some devotional news, substantial devotional news. That we've got
And I
news
also
of
heard
Krishna.
he never leaves Vrindavan. So how is that possible?
Well, Paramanandhu, yesterday we sang with a little difficulty, but we sang the Sri Jagannath Astakam, which is giving glorification of Jagannath. And we know externally the appearance of Lord Jagannath. And then we are singing this song and reading the translation, of course. Of course means because we very rarely sing Jagannath Astakam. And we read the translation. And it's all inconceivable. So if you're really asking the question, how is it Krishna's returning to Vrindavan and yet he never leaves Vrindavan? Then I can say it's inconceivable.
Yes, this whole Leela is actually quite amazing. And it's always the news. It's been going on for how long? Forever. This is just the external manifestation of but the Leela is ongoing. Evidence of how much pull Vrindavan, but when we say Vrindavan, we don't mean that Krishna wants to go to a particular place. It's the inhabitants of Vrindavan that have that pull on Krishna. So that form of Lord Jagannath, which is very unusual, is a clear evidence of that. How much force and how much attachment Krishna have for Vrindavan. So we heard that once he overheard the stories of Rohini telling about what is going on, actually delivering the news of Vrindavan. And then he wanted to go so much there. His whole existence wanted to be there, that he took this beautiful form of Lord Jagannath. With such force, he actually went to Vrindavan at that moment. And it's always the case. So yes, it's impossible to understand, but it has to be accommodated. Krishna Lila. Difficult for us to conceive of the reasons of the scenarios and why is this and why is that. And it's not for us to discuss and not for us. I mean, it's for us to discuss for our own good, but not for us to figure it out. The mind cannot be applied there. It was beautifully concluded by Srila Goswami. He is saying that Akshi Krishna Namadina Parakati Mitviya cannot be understood by mind or senses. Nothing can, even Krishna himself, sometimes he doesn't really clearly knows what is going to be next. It's not his job. It's the Yoga Maya's job. And Baladev and Yoga Maya, as you know, they're working together. Anyhow, there's, as you, all of you know, the Rath Festival, I believe. And do correct me, Maharaj, I've already reached Gundicha. So he is in Vrindavan.
Actually, I couldn't catch every word, but you then, I heard you saying, do correct me. So I can't really correct, but there's nothing, I'm sure there was nothing to correct. If others could catch all the words, I'm sure it was a proper representation.
I was just talking that he probably already reached Gundicha. So it means he is already in Vrindavan.
Ah, yes. Probably.
Yes, because it's the, what is it? The 1, 2, this is the third day of Rath Yatra.
Yeah.
And so many wonderful pastimes will manifest. So it's a very good time to revisit Chaitanya Charitamrita and read about Mahaprabhu's ecstatic dance in front of all the preparations of the selection, very careful consideration of appointing the dancers, the Mridanga players, the Karatal players, and how he divided different groups and who was in charge. All of this small but very significant. They seem to be insignificant, but actually they're very significant things. Otherwise, why are they mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita? And then Lord will stop, and then Mahaprabhu will rest in the gardens. Then Maharaja Prataparudra will get his mercy, reciting Gopi Gita, and then finally Krishna will reach to Gundicha. And then again, before that, the Gundicha Marja. After that, when Lakshmi will go there to chastise, to actually claim Krishna back, pull him back to where she thinks he belongs. And there will be a very humorous exchange between Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu will be witnessing, but the exchange will be between Swarup Damodar pastimes. So it's good to read.
Jai. And in the chat box, then I expect Seva Rupa has, yes, Seva Rupa Nevidasi, she has put a link at the end to the Veda base. It's Madhya Lila chapter 13 that's being referred to here. And she's also put some, put an article. It's not very long, it's quite short, and it is from the gaudiyadarshan.com, the Rupanuga vision of Ratha Yatra. And actually, it is very good for us to read that now, this article. And I just want to welcome Madhava Prabhu on Facebook and Divya Shakti Devidasi on Facebook. They're sending obeisances and pranams. And by the way, I see in the chat box also, so our obeisances and pranams to you, of course, happy to have you with us. And also in the chat box on Zoom, then Vrindavaneshri, about the thumbnail picture that she's using there. It's the tree at Imlitala. It's the tamarind tree under which Krishna sat and is told turned golden in thinking of Radharani's mood of service and of separation too. And where Mahaprabhu sat under the tree and turning blackish, we are told, thinking of Krishna and in separation from Krishna. And that tamarind tree is very close to our temple. It's Imlitala. It's right behind our temple, and there's maybe 4 buildings in between or something, 4, I mean, Indian-sized buildings, not giant buildings. And it's on the banks of the Jamuna. So this is, again, wonderful reminder of whenever we visit these places or see pictures, we're reminded of these pastimes. So Vrindavaneshri, thank you very much for letting us know that picture where you are. Now, Sevarupa has put in the chat box Srila Govinda Maharaj explaining the Rupa Nuga vision of Ratha Yatra. So, Sevarupa, are you able to read? Will you be waking everybody up, or are you able to read? It's early morning there in South Africa.
Haridev, Dandavats, dear devotees. Only Kayla's fast asleep, but she can sleep through it, so no worries. Should I read the section that I put in?
Yes,
from
very,
the background.
very short. It's quite short,
Okay.
so please do. And as you know, please read with understanding. And if there's something you don't understand, please ask.
So it is from an article dated the 26th of June, but I think it's 2014, or it was posted. And
That's when it's posted, yes. Posted.
Yes. So there is some before this. There's also the link is there. So there is some reading before this, and then at the end it just gives the background. This is the vision that augments the bhajan of the followers of Sri Rupa.
Okay.
And the back.
Sevarupa, then please.
Yes.
When I was first looking, I didn't read, I didn't understand. It's actually 2 different excerpts you've given. The first is Srila Gurudev from Affectionate Guidance. And the second is, or is it, please tell me, is it 2 different quotes? Or is it one?
Yeah, it looks like it's one article, and it starts off by the Rupa Nuga vision of Radha Yatra, written by the Sri Gaudiya Darshan in an article, Festivities at the 29th June 2014. Then it says Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj explains why Sri Jagannath Dev's Radha Yatra is not conducted in Vrindavan or Navadip.
Okay,
And then,
got it. Yeah.
Then it gives, there's a whole article, and then at the end, there's background given by Srila Govinda Maharaj. So that's the part that I just copied and pasted, but the link is under that for the full
Yes.
article.
Got it.
Okay. So Srila Bhakti, the background is Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj's explanation of the purpose of this article is found in chapter 25 of Affectionate Guidance. Srila Guru Maharaj from time to time gave an article, that is to Sri Gaudiya Darshan magazine. One such article was entitled Sri Radha Yatra Sri Rupa Nuga Nuchintana. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that. This explained what the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami will think about the Radha Yatra. So at that time, the Mayapur Sri Chaitanya Math started a Rath Yatra, but that was very painful for Srila Guru Maharaj because it was offensive to the Rupanuga Chintadara. This is very high Siddhanta. Mahaprabhu explained that the meaning of Radha Yatra is that Srimati Radharani takes Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. But Mayapur is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Krishna. So from Mayapur, where are they taking Mahaprabhu? They cannot take Krishna out of Vrindavan, nor can they take Mahaprabhu out of Mayapur. This is the thinking of the Rupanuga followers, and this was explained in that article by Srila Guru Maharaj. However, I did not give Srila Guru Maharaj's name as the author because we knew that some other parties may try to contradict this thinking. And if a conflict will come, I shall face that. But I shall not push Srila Guru Maharaj to the front of any conflict. If I put Srila Guru Maharaj's name and anyone will give any objection, that will be offensive for them. Therefore, I put the name of one of my god brothers. We wanted to show everyone what is the proper Siddhanta, but in the battlefield, we shall not push our Guru to the forefront. I shall go to the battlefield if necessary, but not that I will make my Guru go there. So Jai Gurudev, this is just reference. The reference says that when the leap month on the lunar calendar, which occurs every 2 years and 8 months and is known as Purushottam Mas or Mala Mas, falls in the middle of the month of Ashta, that's June or July. In other words, when it falls between Snan Yatra and Rath Yatra, then the festival known as Nava Kalevara, literal meaning is new form, is observed, in which new deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Sudarshan are prepared from specially selected neem or margosa trees, and the existing deities are buried. Nava Kalevara occurs at intervals of 8, 11, or 19 years, and in the last century. It was performed in 1912, 1931, 1950, 1969, 1977, and 1996. The next Navakalevara ceremony will be in 2015. And that's the end of the article. Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, that was a reference at the end. It
Yes.
was just giving some explanation. And so now I'm sure everyone's frantically thinking, so when's it next? Navakalevara?
Yes.
Navakalevara, yes. Anyhow, this year, Jagannath looked as though he didn't quite have a new form of body because he looked quite well handled by the time he came out of the temple. And then, you know how so many pandas are taking him out from the temple, and he has his leela of dancing on the way to the chariot. So it does come in our mind. You see, we can't understand the pastimes of the Lord, but it does say that the deity is nourished during the time while Jagannath has got some influenza after bathing, and that time, which is like 2 weeks, about 2 weeks before the Rath Yatra. But his body looked this year to be, what should we say, not newly manifested, not newly, I can't say remade. What was the expression that was used? New deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Anyhow, dear devotees, maybe we won't read the actual article. When I glanced through in the chat box earlier, I thought that was the article that was there. But the link is there, and it's a serious article to contemplate. And it's Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Raksak, Haridev Goswami, explaining why Jagannath Dev's Rath Yatra is not conducted in Vrindavan or Navadip. So it's very sedantic, and as Paramananda was saying, you know, that we cannot take Krishna out of Vrindavan, we cannot take Mahaprabhu out from Mayapur. And so the reasoning behind all this is given in this article by Srila Guru Maharaj in the pen name of another devotee, as Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj just explained one. Hare Krishna. Anyhow, Rath Yatra is happening. I didn't see the final conclusion yesterday, but I saw the evening of the day before yesterday, where we are, means when the Rath Yatra began, that Baladev did reach Gundicha, and Subhadra and Jagannath were slightly different places on the way to Gundicha, as far as I could see in photographs at the end of the day. And we did keep looking throughout the day at the ETV broadcast on their website, and it was a good broadcast because there really was no commentary at all. So we were able to happily hear all the sounds and see all the activity and the energy, the life, the dancing, the hosing, using the fire hydrant hoses, the hosing of water over the people, over the pilgrims, not to get them to go away, but to get them to be cool in the heat. So we know it was a hot day in Jagannath Puri. So yes, we'll follow the Leela, and the Vijay Lakshmi Day comes soon. I think it is, I think it's the 1st of July. Take a quick look. And June, 30 days has September, April, June. So Monday is the 30th. And the 1st of July is Hera Panchami. Sri Sri Lakshmi Vijay in Puri Dham. Hare Krishna. Everything is inconceivable, but that doesn't mean that we don't participate. It's inconceivable that the sun not only gives sunlight, it gives energy and all sorts of things. It's inconceivable about many things, but we still appreciate the sun, we appreciate the wind, we appreciate everything. We don't have to understand everything. Why does the garden smell so sweet? Oh, it's this chemical that's produced by this plant from the earth, which does this. We don't have to do that. We just have to say, my goodness, what a fragrance in the garden. So we can appreciate Krishna's pastimes without all the why background, the beauty of the garden, the beauty of Krishna, the fragrance of the garden, the fragrance of Krishna, the sounds of the nature, the sounds of Krishna, the sounds of Krishna's name. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. Govinda. Would anyone like to ask a question or make a contribution here on Zoom? And Tungarasa also joined us on Facebook. So welcome, Tungarasa Devidasi. And I know others are on Facebook, but I just can't see you. And I know others see the recorded version. We just can't see you, but we appreciate you being there. Thank you for being with us. Seva Devidasi is added. Oh, ETV. I have no shares in ETV, and also you don't have to pay to watch it, so you're okay. But I was happy to come across that. Okay, there's a link. I don't know if they're still broadcasting live day by day, but they didn't. I saw that the first day they broadcast it continuously for over 11 hours, and the recording is there. All right, Bimal Krishna Prabhu, I know it's very early for you to contribute. We have half an hour left. All yours. Dandavat to you. Dandavat Ishtadevika Devidasi.
Dandavat Maharaj. Dandavat to everybody. I was going to say it was nice to see Paramananda Prabhu back on too, but he's disappeared for the moment. So anyway, I actually do want to share something. I just didn't want to take too much time, but I really want to recommend to everyone, if you don't have this book, you should get this book and go through it. Like, I was just reading through Srila Guru Maharaj. His parts in there are so beautifully written, and there's so much substance there. I mean, not to mention everything else that's in the book, but his illuminations are so incredible. I was just reading a lot of what you're saying too is Paramananda Prabhu mentioning none of this, you can realize none of this just through knowledge, and I was reading in verse 10 where they're discussing the different levels of devotees, like the karma yoga bhaktis, and like the different levels up to Srimati Radharani, and just there's some really great parts in there. Even just Guru Maharaj, every level he starts talking about karma yoga, and just the things he says there are so motivating. Like I read them and I'm like, oh yes, this makes so much sense. He's just saying like, just do your duty. Like don't worry about the reactions. And he says it in such an elegant way. And just talking about, he said when he's in college, he decided that his duty, he would just speak the truth no matter what. And it's all, I could read it, it's all more beautiful, but he just says it, and at that point he could see that the environment around him was just like a ball in his hand. Like there was no fear there. He would do it even if it meant death. He would perform his duty. But there's so many things he's speaking about karma, and just even karma is not necessarily the actions. It's like the body, he says, is innocent. It all starts in the mind, and just we have to, because like in the beginning, like we try to, like we might have certain habits or certain things that we do, and we may try to control those externally, and we may not do certain things, but if our mind is still thinking about these things and trying to, we're still obsessing over them or whatever, like that's where that karma comes from ultimately, is there's another part in there. But anyway, he keeps going deeper and deeper, and he's actually going through the Ramananda Samvad through this section of the verse 10, which is really beautiful. And he just goes through each part in such a beautiful, every time he speaks a part, it's like, yes, like this is the way, and then he says, Mahaprabhu's like, no, that's still superficial. And you're just like, whoa, I was super motivated. And then you read it and it's like, no, there's more, there's something higher. And then he keeps going. But the part that really struck me, because he's talking about Jnana Mishra Bhakti, is like at that point Mahaprabhu's still saying like go further, and then he gets to the point of Jnana Sunya Bhakti, and it's really interesting because then he says like at that point you have to have some ruchi or some taste, and then Guru Maharaj talks about he says that he doesn't, Ramananda doesn't mention the sadhu or shraddha, you know, but he's like, but that's what, it all comes down to sukriti, like that taste, you know, it doesn't have anything to do with knowledge. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing, and it's all, I mean, forgive me too if I'm speaking wrongly, but I just read this, so I was just kind of going from memory, but it just shows the importance of the sadhu. He says in this life, like if we come across a sadhu, he said it's all about sukriti, and you know, by coming across the sadhu, we can hear about Krishna's Leela, and then we can gain some kind of taste for that. And that's where all of this really begins, is from taste. It has nothing to do with our knowledge, you know, anything like that. But and then he continues on, but that's where I read up to. But I just thought the importance of the sadhu and the Vaishnavas, and just that association and hearing, you know, it's kind of like that's what we're depending on, because trying to do this all ourselves, like through knowledge or karma, or, you know, just doing our duty simply, like there's always a chance we could fall back, you know. So anyway, just that's, I just wanted to share that. It was really inspiring to me tonight, and forgive any offenses I made in trying to share what's in the book. It's obviously far greater, and hopefully you can all read it for yourself. My dandavat.
Dandavas Prabhu, and many thanks for highlighting Upadeshamritam. Here in Vila Govinda, this is part of the 2 books at the moment in the morning reading. The other book is, let you all guess, yes, you got it right, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Upadeshamrita, the verses by Rupa Goswami, of course, and the commentary of Srila Guru Maharaj. And those last 3 verses, they're all to do with the gradation and ultimate goal. And here, actually, you are ahead of us here in Vila Govinda. In Vila Govinda, we're on chapter 8. Not 9, 10, 11. Oh, and you're commenting on chapter 9, was it?
Verse 10.
Oh, verse 10, yes, I thought so. Okay, I somehow thought, yes, you're a verse ahead of us. Yes, here they're on chapter 9, and you are on chapter 10. So they're both about gradation, the gradation of the practitioners, the gradation of the environments, the places, the dhams, if you like. And this is, I mean, everything is classic Srila Guru Maharaj. And this is classic Srila Guru Maharaj. I mean, really, that he's presenting Ramananda Samvad, he's presenting the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, and he's presenting in his own way to make clarification for us. And this point about gradation, we forget about gradation in some ways, we just take it for granted. But there's gradation everywhere. And in Sri Guru and His grace, there's gradation of Guru. And we do have to adjust to all of these things and not throw out everything just because it's not the very highest. We don't throw out devotees because they're not the very highest devotees. And we must be aware there's always going to be the junior school teachers and so many things. I mean, it's just an example because this came up in 2 places recently. So I thought, oh, well, how can this be a coincidence when on the same day, this same section came up from 2 completely different quarters. And then we see that Guru Maharaj is always saying about gradation. There's gradation everywhere. Yes, and everywhere we read in both in Brihad Bhagavatamritam and in the Ramananda Samvad, when we get to the next level, really we think, oh, amazing, wonderful. And in Gopal Kumar's words, when he's going location to location, that kind of association, higher association, different association, he just is absolutely lost for words when he's going from one place to another, and gives us some idea that the Vedas, finally, they say, please excuse us, we could not reveal, actually, we could not show, actually, who you are that we are trying to point out, but we can only point the direction to you and your land, because Gopakumar, he goes to one section of Vaikuntha, even before Vaikuntha, he's lost for words. And then he goes to the like entrance section. And then he's saying how it's not possible to describe whatever I described from before. Then it's so much more than that. Then the next level he's giving. Whatever I could not describe before, it's 10 billion times or 10 million times more than that. You know, he's just completely lost for words. And then we can come to understand that really this path of bhakti, the journey of life, of the fortunate, the Bhagavana Jiva, it is a real journey. And Krishna, by Krishna's independent relationship with everybody, he can give little hints to the devotees as he deals with everybody individually and to give confirmation. We're going in the right direction, doing the right thing. And we are looking from afar, hearing from afar about all these things. And after all, we see by hearing, as Guru Maharaj said. And yes, it is another hidden treasure, the Upadeshamritam, really. Of course, the Upadeshamritam itself, we know, is a hidden treasure. And Srila Guru Maharaj's illumination, so wonderful. And Haridev Prabhu joined us from Salt Lake City and sending dandavats. And Maheshwari Devidasi from USA. Oh, she went. Oh, I'm being called. That's what she's saying in the chat. I'm being called away. Okay. This evening. By the time this class meets again, I will be at Vila Govinda. Krishna willing. Okay. I'm sure Krishna's willing. Giant. And yesterday evening, oh, well, yesterday was Saturday. We had a festival yesterday evening. And actually, we had a festival the day before. Today, we're going to have a festival too. Today is public program and temple program. So multiple festivals. We're doing public preaching in Monza, the home of Formula One racing. Let's see. But we're not going, well, we'll be near the railway, not the railway, the racing track. And I hope they're not racing because really those cars make a lot of noise. But just near there, we're doing public preaching today. And yesterday they were also doing, but yesterday we had guests and we had our devotees. We had a festival here in Vila Govinda. And there, Shyama Sundar Prabhu, one of the 5 pillars of Vila Govinda from the very beginning till now, but he doesn't live in Vila Govinda now because he's married with 3 children and he works very hard. But he's an enthusiast about his job. In other words, he doesn't do it, oh, I've got to go to work today. Well, maybe he does sometimes. Oh, I've got to go to work today. But he does it in the mood of service. He's got a devotee family and he is supporting here ever since the beginning. So Shyama Sundar, he's always on the move, but he was here by surprise yesterday along with his family. And they and others came and the public came and we had a festival. As every day is a festival of chanting, reading and everything. Oh yes, and we were referring to Jagannath Rath Yatra yesterday too. Oh, Sevarupa's come with some news. Oh, really, no one can stop all karma wholesale. Really? Okay, that's Srimad Bhagavatam. And why have you given us this verse, Sevarupa? Oh, why was I mentioning of Shyama Sundar? Because he was asking. It's Haridev Prabhu who reminded me, because he's asking, who is coming here from Salt Lake City? But Haridev Prabhu cannot come due to circumstances. But Ishwaranand Prabhu is coming. And do you know anybody else who is coming? Haridev Prabhu? No.
Dandavat Maharaj. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay, good enough. Sevarupadiri, why have you put this? Really, no one can stop all karma? Were we trying to stop karma? I thought we were trying to get Krishna Prema.
No, Maharaj, it is from Bimal Krishna Prabhu's reading of the chapter 10. It was just some insert that I found was enough that I could just put into the chat instead of that whole. It's quite a long commentary by Srila Guru Maharaj on verse or chapter 10, verse 10 of the Sri Sri Upadesamrta.
Well, his commentary on chapter 9, which is gradation, again, as you said, 9, 10, 11, but chapter 9 also is very long. I don't know if it's the longest in the book, but it's very long. And I expect chapter 10 is too. We'll get to that after chapter 9. So Bimal Krishna Prabhu, would you like to read this? This has come from the chapter of which you mentioned.
Sure.
Would you like to read this? Can you see it on the screen? Or would you have the book page 251?
Thank you.
Even if one leaves all karma from there until the mind is all important.
All right. All right. So it says, even if one leaves all karma, one still has to take food and go to the latrine, and that is also a type of karma.
There you
So-
are. Guru Maharaj's gentle humor at the same time, deny it if you like, deny it if you can.
He also says too that we may take some food and the stool will come, and we don't care for the stool, and in the same way our karma will come to us, and we shouldn't be bothered by it, and just another point there. But
Yeah.
he said, so to get out of karma does not mean that we should try to get out of all physical karma. Not only the physical attempt should be considered in karma, because the mind is also there, and that is the real seat of karma. The real cause is in the mind. Mental desire, kamana vasana, is the actual karma, not something external. The physical is innocent. The culprit is the mind. If we do not move our physical limbs, but we go on mentally planning and planning, then we are committing karma. But if in our minds we are clear to obey the direction of God or Dharma, then our physical activity has no value. The mind is all important. This is the internal, the plan, the purpose, the impulse, the sankalpa. That is the all important thing. As the mind says, so the body serves. The body is innocent.
Very good. Yes, I mean, of course, very good. I cannot make that comment, but very good. You're reading and presenting this. And how direct and clear is Guru Maharaj? I mean, a little bit of a naughty example, but Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and Srila Prabhupada, they all had a sense of humor, it is sure. And certainly, we know Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, they had a sense of humor, very kind of refined. And here, Guru Maharaj, very classic. Even if one leaves all karma, one still has to take food and go to the latrine. And that is also a type of karma. There you are. Hare Krishna, a little naughty, but makes the point. Hare Krishna. Okay, now does anyone have a comment? Have you stopped all karma? Oh no, I stopped all karma. Really? Okay. Haridev Prabhu has raised a hand. My Zoom says. Haridev Prabhu, yes.
Dandava Gurudev and Dandava to all the dear devotees present in this session. Gurudev, I have a question. I would like to ask for an advice now that Bimal Krishna Prabhu read that beautiful thing by Srila Guru Maharaj. It is true that the karma is sitting on the mental plane, even though we're not moving or trying to attain something physically, the mind is planning and planning and planning. And you have told me in the past that is by taking prasad, the consciousness gets purified. And now my question will be how in a beginner stage we can advance in internalizing and practicing taking prasad. how can this mind get purified, because it doesn't stop creating reaction over and over again?
Well, first of all, to follow the practice, and these practices, they are part of a whole system. It's not that an athlete will only take high calorie or whatever it is, high going to create energy food. They're also going to do their exercises and do all the other things that they do for being a successful athlete. So similarly, honoring prasadam is part of the process. It is not that I'm going to be a devotee by honoring prasadam, and I'm not going to chant the holy name. I'm not going to serve the Vaishnavas. I'm not going to wash up afterwards. I'm just going to honor prasadam. I heard that I can take prasadam and then I'll go back to Krishna. It is part of a system which has been given to us, the advice that's been given to us by Krishna himself. Actually, when we look, read Bhagavad Gita. But it's part of a system for us to cleanse away the nonsense thoughts that come, the wrong thinking, the diseased thoughts that come, and to make ourselves from inside to out into devotees. Clean thinking, and genuinely hankering for service, hankering for the association, hankering for the connection of the higher world, and actually detesting, spitting at the thought of the material alternatives or the material reflections of the higher things. So first of all, always honor prasad, not to go buying things, or, oh, let's have a snack, let's have a this, let's have a that. We take prasadam and not think about our tongue and all the adverts we've seen for these tasty things that are going to make you so happy, whatever chocolate bars, whatever this, that, and the other. So all these things, we only take prasadam, and we say our prayers before taking prasadam. Sounds very like, okay, parents telling the children, say your prayers. But we need to say, and what is the prayer? Dear Lord, you're so merciful that we're caught up in this net, like a fish is caught in a net. We're caught in this net, and of all of our senses demands, but of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. But dear Lord, you have been so kind to give your prasadam, your mercy, your prasadam in the form of rice, etc., in order for us to control our tongue. So we are being given Krishna's mercy to control our tongue. And as Guru Maharaj points out, we should, while honoring prasadam, think how Krishna has tasted this. Not, oh, I am tasting and it is so tasty to me, like this. It is the honoring of the Lord's mercy. He's so kind. He's tasted this and now he's given me these remnants. What is the origin of everything? It's Krishna. Our capacity to taste comes from Krishna. The tasty items come from Krishna. And Krishna's devotees, the cooks, they've done some magic. They've done taste artwork, like an artist uses colors and makes a painting. So the Krishna's artist cooks, they create these beautiful things for Krishna and then offer to Krishna. Krishna is happy, then we are happy. And it may sound, okay, this just sounds like another way around eating. But really, I hope that after a while, really, you will not want to just cook and take for yourself. Oh, no, really, it's sinful. And Krishna says those who don't offer their food, they're eating only sin. And what is sin? Sin is for me, ultimately, for myself and not for the Lord. Really, ultimately, it is like that. And karma, the material side, everything has action and reaction. And we are taking so many lives by eating. So anyhow, we follow the process, Haridev Prabhu. As we follow the process, then we are told this is the very practical, very important aspect of devotional life, to honor prasadam. So we will understand, okay, that is sufficient. But then we are getting the tips on how to honor prasadam with the mood that it is the Lord's mercy. And if you think it's not the Lord's mercy, head off out to the whatever desert is near, the middle of the Salt Lake Flats in Salt Lake City, or near Salt Lake City, and sit out there, not in the line of the racing cars, because they also do speed, fast car driving in a straight line, don't they? Drag racing or something. But if you sit there for a while, you're going to get thirsty and you're going to get hungry. And then, if you don't have any money in your pocket and you don't have any other way, you're in the middle of a desert, basically. And then any food that will come to you, you'll think, oh, with the Lord's mercy, I've got some food. If you're fallen out of an airplane and land in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and any water will come to you, you take that water as prasadam. Oh, the Lord, you're so kind, you've given this water. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste in water. And when you're really thirsty, and sometimes it's sometimes it's once or twice, we can probably all of us think of a time when, we ran out of water, and then on the map it says, here is a spring. You get there and the spring is dried up, and then you got to go another 2 hours, and then you get water. Oh my goodness, taste of water. But we must take this as Krishna's mercy. So the food we get, we cannot eat mud. The food we get is Krishna's mercy. Anyhow, keep practicing. Everything we are doing, we are practicing. And then bit by bit, on another back to basics, you might say, oh, I saw this person cooking and then eating straight away. It seems so wrong. Then you think, you comment and say, oh, now I think prasadam is having some effect on me. We only want prasadam, not cooking and eating for ourselves. Yes, Haridev, Hare Krishna.
That was very helpful, very beautiful to hear. Especially because you said that it's part of the system of practice. It's not like the only element. And Gurudev, can I ask you another question? Very quickly.
You may ask.
So if the foods that other devotees prepare for the Lord and that we take as remnants help us control the jiva, the tongue, the urge of the tongue. Then the other
Jiva, Jihva is the tongue. You're quite right. It sounds like Jiva soul, but it's Jiva.
Yeah.
There's a H in there somewhere. Yes.
Yes. So what about the other urges by taking the remnants of the Lord, the food?
By controlling the tongue and the belly is for the quantity, the tongue is for the taste. Oh, I want this taste, I want that, my satisfaction of taste. Then by controlling the tongue and controlling the belly, which is for the quantity. Oh, yes, it's so good. Give me more, give me more. Oh, this ice cream, this gelato, so good. Give me more, until you eat a whole tub of gelato, and then a little while later you feel sick. Okay, every child has this experience. Okay, well, we're all children still. And so the quantity is the belly, put it this way. Then, of course, the genitals must be controlled by the mind, and it is manobhava. It is lust is told to be seated in the mind. It is not physical, but if we can control the tongue and the stomach, then the genitals will be easy to control. And we have like direct examples of devotees who are in the renounced order of life, and Gurudev saying to one devotee in particular who was eating so much, he said, and eating very rich foods, and he said, the result of this kind of food is it will awaken these urges. And we saw it happen. So we must be careful about our tongue, taste, and our belly, quantity. And then this will also help the very root of all of the material creation, how creation goes on, which is the natural instinct for the opposite sex. So it's not denied, but it is addressed. And so we must, again, try to follow the process. And by the way, maybe it is Search for Sri Krishna, Srila Guru Maharaj has asked maybe a question about intoxication. And Guru Maharaj said, intoxication, it's a small thing compared with this desire for the opposite sex. And that we know those who like intoxication take this as it's a small thing, we can do intoxication. But Guru Maharaj was pointing out, if you can't control the small things, how can you control the big things? So, we must take everything in the proper context, the way that it's spoken, rather. It's a small thing. We'll all go and do nonsense with intoxication. So anyway, just to put that as a sideline. So it is understood that the desire for the opposite sex is always kind of waiting to come and capture us and keep us in the material world. So we want to address everything properly. And properly means we've been given prasad, we've been given the holy name, we've been given association, we've been given the nourishment of the wholesome full matter, not only the food, not only the reading, not only the hearing, not only the chanting, not only the association, but all coming together. And then if we will do everything nicely and avoid, which actually, if you look at the 10 offenses, if we avoid the 10 offenses, which covers all kinds of things, including headed by Vaishnava Aparad, look at that beautiful verse. After 10 verses, one by one explaining the 10 offenses, Srila Gurudev, in his composition, he says very beautifully about one who avoids all these 10 offenses, leaving no exception, then the name divine himself will shine within their hearts forever. Essentially, that is wonderful things will happen. So we take our spiritual life seriously. We accept we're in the material world, and we tolerate the urges for the tongue, the belly, the genitals. We do the right thing. This is essentially what we need to do. So we know the senses are controlled by the mind. The mind is controlled by the intelligence. The intelligence is controlled by its good nourishment. The sadhu, the scripture, the guru. So everywhere we need to take proper guidance. Hare Krishna. Okay, anyway, we covered various topics today. Paramananda. In the Association of Pure Devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Yes. And this also gradation. We know we are at the bottom of the gradation tree. We must be humble. We must know we are the fallen souls. And we must take guidance from those who are the seers of the truth. And what Paramanand has put here in the chat box, we will see this theme also within the Srila Guru Maharaj's commentaries there in the Upadesamrta. And in his explanation of verse 9, certainly then this idea is coming. And then the nishtha, the continuous stage of absorption in Krishna consciousness of Krishna, not of our material needs. From there, wonderful things truly happen. And everywhere is amazing, every step of Krishna consciousness, from the beginning to the never-ending end. Okay, dear devotees, here on Zoom, here on Facebook, and here in the recorded version, happy to be with you all. Our time is running. Yesterday and the past is just a dream, which we can say something about a dream, the parts we remember. The future is just a dream about the future, but the present is with us. Let us all use our present nicely in following what we're meant to do. What else can we say? So I'm meant to continue here, and I better do my duties here. It is 5:08 in the morning. And so if I was very naughty, I'd go and ring the bell loudly. But now we have a loud bell. As some of you know that bell, it's quite loud, I have to say, but I won't be naughty. We'll continue our day. Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock of Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridev Das Prabhu ki Jai. That reminded me something just now too, which I need to do. And Jai Shri, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki Jai, and all the aspiring servitors in the line of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Shri and Mahaprabhu ki Jai, and all the present day Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, and Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Srila Bhakti Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
And by the way, if you want anything that's in the chat box, do copy it out, otherwise it'll get lost. And I'm going to reread this GaudiyaDarshan.com, the Rupanuga vision of Ratha Yatra. I read it again and again before, but I will read it again soon, just after a few minutes. I'll read it again. You can test me. Okay. Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj. Dandavat, Dandavat, all best wishes. We'll meet again soon. Govinda, Govinda. Hare Krishna.